Hi, hello friends. Welcome to T Academy. Now we'll discuss the Tamil Nadu Teachers Recruitment Board Polytechnic Lectures exam. Up to 39 questions we discussed in the previous session. Now in this session we'll continue this from the 40th question here. Okay. Now the question on the screen here, it is the first question here. The second harmonic component of waveform given in the following figure has an amplitude of, okay, the given signal is a square signal and it is a symmetrical wave. Symmetrical means both the negative and half cycles area are going to be same. Okay, so for example here it is Vs, it's having a time period of t by 2, and a negative half cycle also having an amplitude of minus Vs, but it is having a time period of how much? T minus t by 2. That means it is overall it is t by 2. So here up to half cycle area is t by 2, next to half cycle it is area is t by 2. So I am not going to use the mathematical equations here to give the answer. I will take this square wave here. Okay, I have taken the same square wave, and from here to here the time period is, it is how much? Let us consider it is a t by 2. From the negative half cycle also here also time period of t by 2, entire time period is t here. Okay, as you can observe here, a square wave can be represented with a multiple frequency of sinusoidal waveforms. That is nothing but a Fourier series expansion. Now you see here, there is a red square wave is available here. It's a given circuit. It can be expanded. It can be made into some series of sinusoidal waveforms with multiple frequencies here. First one, I talk about the fundamental frequency. The fundamental frequency is a blue line. Is here, as you can see here, it is having the same time period as that of a square wave signal. Okay, so this is the important quantity. So fundamental sine wave component here. And next I am going to talk about the third order harmonics. I am not going to talk about second. Why? What will happen, sir? I will see. So third harmonics here. So third harmonic, as you can see, this gray line here. Okay, observe, in a complete one half cycle, how many half cycles of this third harmonic are present? So 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, as you can see, how many harmonics? How many half cycles? It is a 3 harmonics per half cycle. Suppose if you consider for a full cycle, 1 cycle, 2 cycles and 3 cycles. For a fundamental of 1 complete sinusoidal cycle, there are 3 complete cycles of sinusoidal supply. Now for example, suppose if you talk about the fifth harmonic, okay, fifth harmonic means how many half cycles are? For a complete half cycle, we are having 1 half cycle, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you talk about full half cycle, 1 half cycle, so 1 complete cycle, 2, and from here to here 3, and here it is a 4 like this. Okay, so 1, 2, so 3 here, and 4 here, and a 5, sorry, make a correction, 5 here. Now what about the second order harmonic here? So why there are even harmonics are absent? There is no second order harmonic, there is no fourth order harmonics. Why it is, or what will happen here? See here, simple logic and design, here it is. As you can see here, for a complete one fundamental cycle, for a half cycle is present. For a third harmonic, how many half cycles? 3 harmonics are there. Suppose for example, if it second order harmonic means it will have a half cycle like this, 1 cycle complete cycle, and it will be like this. So this is what they are asking. What about the second order harmonic component? So for second order harmonic component, the average value is going to be 0 here. Observe here, the positive equal negative half cycle. Okay, so both the positive average value and negative average value are going to be cancelled, so that second order harmonic, fourth order, or 6 or something like we can call as a even order harmonics. So these even order harmonics are absent in this waveform here. The same point which we discuss in the power system short nodes points, we discuss that where we discuss that symmetrical wave. Okay, so symmetrical wave is having only third order harmonics and even order harmonics are absent. So from this itself, conclusion itself, we can say that the answer is 0 here. Okay, next question here. Next question here, as you can see, the standardization of potentiometer is done in order that they can be. So potentiometer, what is the first potentiometer is? Potentiometer is a device which is used to measure the unknown voltages, to measure unknown voltages by comparing it with a known voltage here. Okay, so comparing with a known voltage, so by comparing with known voltage. Now why we are doing standardization here? So the process of adjusting the working current to match the voltage drop across the slide wire against a standard reference is known as standardization. Okay, so to make up the device which is ready for the measurement of the unknown voltage, there is nothing but a standardization. So we are going to do the standardization to make the device more accurate and direct reading here. So accurate means getting the value, getting the measurement value to the actual value or true value. So precise is nothing but repeatedly getting the same value. Okay, so accurate and right loading is the right answer for this 41 question here. Next one, 42 question. A yearly MERS price maximum demand indicates. So maximum indicator indicates here. So it indicates average maximum demand over a specific period of time. So what is this meter will do is, this meter is used to record the maximum power consumed by the consumer using a particular period. Okay, now the MERS price maximum demand indicator is available as a unit together with the energy meter. So combination of energy meter. Okay, so it's a combination of some energy meter. Okay, so this MERS price, okay, maximum demand indicator. So this entire together is act as a device which is used to measure the power. So measure the power consumed by the consumer during a particular period of time here. Now there is one more formula, important formula is available here, so which may be useful for your upcoming TNB exam. Okay, so take it down. That is average maximum demand in kilowatts. Average maximum, so demand in kilowatts is equal to maximum energy recorded over a time. Maximum energy recorded over a time interval in kilowatt hour divided by time interval in hours. Okay, so this is important formula here. And next we will see the 43rd question, the nominal ratio of a current transformer. Okay, so nominal ratio of a current transformer defined as the rated primary winding phasor divided by rated secondary winding phasor. So the phasor means here, the phasor means either it may be voltage quantity or it may be a current quantity here. So it is in case of current transformer, if it says that the nominal ratio is defined as it is a rated primary divided by rated secondary current. Suppose the nominal ratio of a voltage transformer, okay, so you can call it a, otherwise you can call it a potential transformer. If they ask what is the nominal ratio of a potential transformer, then you can say that the rated primary voltage divided by the rated secondary voltage here. Okay, now there is a one more formula is there which may be useful for your examination point of view, that is ratio correction factor. I'll write in here ratio correction factor, so which can be written as it is the ratio of transformation ratio, it is the ratio of transformation ratio divided by nominal ratio. Okay, next we will go to the next question here. phantom loading for testing of energy meter is used here. Okay, so I will tell you the answer here with the help of a numerical problem here. Okay, note it down. A 250 volt 5 volt for 250 volt 5 amperes energy meter is tested at its marked reading. The resistance of pressure coil, so resistance of pressure coil is 8800 ohms, and the resistance of the current coil, it is 0.1 ohms. Okay, then calculate the power consumed when the test is done with a direct loading arrangement, and second one is phantom loading arrangement. So why I am saying this problem is, this problem is asked in most of the computer exams several times. Okay, so first let me draw the circuit diagram of this direct loading testing. So in the direct load testing, we will take this AC source, okay, and here we connect the pressure coil. Okay, now after that there will be a current coil which is connected to load directly here like this. So now how much voltage we are applying? It is 250 volts, and whatever the current carrying capacity of the load is, here it is 5 amperes. Whatever the resistance here are PC, and here it is RCC. Now I want to find the total energy consumed here. So to find the total energy consumed, so what we will do is, we will add this energy consumed by the PC and the energy consumed by the CC here. So first, what is the energy consumed by PC? By using direct load testing here. So R PC we know. Now we will say P PC. Okay, right here P PC, power consumed by potential coil, is equal to, so entire voltage how much applied? 250 volts, which is connected in parallel with this supply and resistance, both are in parallel here. So V square bar I am going to apply, so 2 by 8800, it is nothing but how much? You may get it as a 7.1 watts here. Okay, and similarly, what about the power losses in current coil? So current coil how much here? We know the resistance, and the current carrying is 5 amperes here. Okay, but what is the entire voltage here? It is 250 into, so 5. So how much it is? 1250 watts. Now you may ask a question, sir, why can't you apply I square R formula here? Okay, here the value R value may be some load, maybe some other, some maybe any value, but we know the voltage, we know the current now, so there is no need of bothering about this resistance here. Okay, you can take it as entire circuit loss load here. Okay, losses here. So PC is equal to 250 into 5. Now by phantom loading, what we will do is, you will take the same energy meter, okay, supply, which will connect to the potential coil. Now 250 volts, and here it is a R PC, it will be same. Okay, now what we will do is, actually here in this case, we will take here in the given data question itself, we will assuming that the phantom loading is done with the circuit excited by 6 volts battery. So this 6 volts battery is given by in the question itself. So 6 volts. Now we are energizing this current coil here. So this is a CC here. Now you understand what we are doing is, in the direct loading we are combining this potential coil and current coil like this, but in the case of the phantom loading, what we are doing is, we are doing separate here. Now this current coil will carry a current of 5 amperes. Now in the second case, in the phantom loading case, whatever the power taken by, consumed by pressure coil is nothing but, so it is same as that of 7.1 watts here. But what about in the second case here, what about the current coil? So PCC is nothing but 6 volts we are applying into 5 volts as a current carrying. So total how much? 30 watts. Now the entire power consumed in the second case is P is equal to 30 plus 7.1, it is nothing but 37.1 watts. Okay, now the answer for this question is, so generally this much of load not available in the laboratory, so that what doing is, we are making separate here. Okay, 6 volts is available, but 250 volts with a current carrying of 5 amperes load may not be available. Okay, that's the reason why here. I hope you understand this point here. So the final answer is large loads may not be available in the laboratory purpose. That is why we are going for phantom loading, and this problem is important for exams point of view. Keep this in your note. Okay. Next question, 45th question here. The power in a three-phase circuit is measured with the help of a 2 wattmeter method. Okay, 2 wattmeter method we are going to measure here. The reading of the one of the wattmeter is a positive, so W1 value is going to be a positive value, and another one is negative. So W2 is reading a negative value. One is a positive, second one is negative. But the condition is the magnitude of the readings are different. If they are same means, I will tell you the answer. If they are not same here, if they are not same, it can be concluded that the power factor of the reading. So power factor of the reading will be less than 0.5 when W1 is not equal to W2. Suppose when the W1 is equal to W2, then the power factor theta is equal to cos inversion of 90. So cos inverse 90 means how much you get? It is 0. Okay, that means the load is pure and inductive or capacitive loads here, but when they are not equal, the power factor is less than that of 0.5 lagging. So 0.5 lagging means whatever the power factor, what is the angle? So phi is nothing but it is less than 30 degrees. Okay, we will move to the next question. Next, this problem is from the mathematics. The function f of x is equal to sine of 1 by x cannot be expanded as a Fourier in the interval between minus pi to pi since. Okay, so to get the answer here, first what we will do is we will take the f of x function, that is f of x is equal to sine of 1 by x, and what about the f dash of x differentiated with respect to x here? F dash x will be differentiation of sine x means it is cos of 1 by x, okay, into 1 by x means we can write it as minus 1 by x square here. Okay, now we will make this f dash of x is equal to 0, so differentiation of x is equal to 0. That implies what you get it is cos of 1 by x is equal to 0. So we can find the value of 1 by x as 1 by x is equal to 2n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 into pi by 2 here. Okay, now from this what you can get is x value as x is equal to 2 by 2n plus 1 into pi. Okay, so where n belongs to z. Now when the value of n tends to infinity, as this value n tends to infinity value, the value of x given by this equation is tend to be more crowded nearer x is equal to 0. Thus the function sine of 1 by x has infinite number of maxima and minima at x is equal to 0. That means the answer is f of x is equal to sine of 1 by x has an infinite number of maxima and minima nearer the x is equal to 0. Okay, just understand this point here. And next one, the transformation of differentiation x square y minus xy plus y is equal to log x into a linear differential equation with the constant coefficients given by x is equal to e power z, z is equal to log x, and theta equal to d by dz is. So it is theta minus 1 whole square into y is equal to z here. Okay, and next question here is also mathematics here. The Taylor series of f of z is equal to 1 by 1 plus z power 4, where z is in between 0 and 1 is. So it is f of z is equal to 1 minus z power 4 plus z power 8 minus z power 12 up to so on infinity here. So C is the right option for this question here. And next question here, it is from the Laplace transformation. Now if L of f of t is equal to f of s, it is a Laplace transformation here, Laplace transformation of f of t is equal to f of s, then the initial value theorem. So initial value theorem is, remember here, initial value theorem is t is equal to 0, so that s is going to be infinity. Final value theorem means t is going to be infinite, s is going to be 0. So based on this here, limit f of t tends to 0 at condition satisfies here is equal to limit s tends to infinity s into f of s. So this is our initial value theorem. Suppose if they ask what is final value theorem. So final value theorem means limit, this is a value for final value theorem here. So limit t tends to infinity, f of t is equal to limit s tends to 0 s into f of s. Sorry, not, this is not the right answer, this is the right answer. So this is your final value theorem here. Okay, next question. The convolution between two functions f of x and g of x in the domain of Fourier transformation is. So the convolution is done in a continuous convolution and as a discontinuous convolution. So here the answer question in the options itself, it is continuous convolution. So convolution is a mathematical operation. It is used to express the relationship between the input and output of a linear time invariant system, and it relates the input output with the impulse response of a LTI system. So f convolution g is equal to integration minus infinity to plus infinity f of u into g of x of minus u into du is the answer here. So A is the right option for this question. So thank you friends, thanks for watching my video. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel and comment. And if you have any previous year papers along with the solutions, you can send it to my mail ID. So tea4u@gmail.com, so that it can be given to your friends, so that they can learn, and then they can also get benefited from this from your materials. Okay, thank you, have a nice day.